Either it is a diploma, a bachelor's degree program or master's degree programs. Most of the programs have one subject called as business exposures. The name itself suggests that what is exposure, which means the student should get to learn something practical along with the theory, and thus the objective of offering this particular course, this particular subject under each of these degree programs. Since I'm teaching one business exposure subject to BBA, which is named retail management, so the concept and theory which has been taught in the class, students should get exposure to see the real-time store layout, maybe store atmosphere, product display. That's the reason that this particular course has been introduced in the course curriculum of BBA Marketing Specialization. The learning of the student is evaluated through the Viva. So business exposure Viva is one of the most common evaluation process adopted by most of the universities and colleges. I have evaluated the learnings of the students for this subject, and I have seen some common mistakes or common areas of improvement which student has to do to get good grades in the Viva examination. In this video, we will discuss some most common questions which are asked to the students in the business exposure Viva. Hey everyone, welcome back once again. By the end of this video, you will get to know the most common or the most frequently asked questions in the business exposure Viva. Make sure to watch the video till the end, and if you're new to the channel, then please do hit on the subscription and bell icon to get the notification of latest uploads. Also, if you have further queries, feel free to comment them in the comment section. So let's get started with the video. We will divide this video into two parts. First, we will discuss about the most common questions which are asked in the Viva, and in the second part, we will talk about some tips which will help you to score good marks in the business exposure Viva. The first question is introduce yourself. This is open-ended question, and most of the students, they feel they can talk whatever they want. It's not like that. You'll have to frame your answers strategically. Either it is a Viva exam or an interview. This is one of the most commonly asked question. So how to introduce yourself, I have already made one detailed video. I have left the link here in the description box, or you can press on the I button and check the video. The second question is tell me something about your project. So here the examiner wants to know about your project, what you have done. This question gives you an opportunity to talk specifically about your nature of work and what key points you have learned in the business exposure visits, or it can be a case study or a report. The next question is why did you choose this particular topic, or if it is a store or a industry. Giving you an example here, like let's say for example, if any one of you have specifically chosen Pantaloon or maybe Central Mall as a store to study. So what was a key factor, or what really motivated you to choose that particular store? Why not some other store? So that you'll have to specify. One suggestion, don't mention that you have chosen because it was next to your house or it was convenient for you. There's nothing wrong in giving this kind of answer, but you'll also have to think strategically what really motivated you to choose that particular store or an industry, and try to give the answer. The next question will be based on your learning. So what did you learn in this business exposure project? So you'll have to specify. I'll suggest you to keep it short and simple, like point number 1, 2, 3 are my major learnings that you can mention. Next question will be based on your observations. So what are your observations if it is based on a visit? So you can specifically tell about the product display, maybe the store layout, or the kind of an interior and exterior infrastructure which was been used in the store. That can specifically be about your observations. You can also mention about the payment methodology being used, the kind of staff they had recruited, and the soft skill which you have observed among the people at the store. That can be simply based on your observations. Next question would be based on which all are the difficulties, or did you face any difficulty? So specifically talking about industry or maybe a store, there may be some sort of difficulty like getting an approval or a permission to visit the store, or taking permission for the photographs or any kind of difficulties if you have faced, you can also mention them in the report, and if the examiner specifically asks you about this question, you should be ready with the answer. Next question will be based on to know what groundwork you have done. So to be specific here, the examiner can ask you who all are the competitors. Like let's say specifically if somebody has chosen maybe Pantaloon as a store for a visit, so the examiner may ask you who all are the competitors of Pantaloons. If you have chosen maybe some electronic manufacturers or their store, it can be a specialty store, chain store. So who all are the competitor of that particular brand or the seller, that can be a question based on. And the last question would be based on the recommendations. So here the examiner can ask you the question, which all are the recommendations which you have given to the store owner or the company. So here at least you will have to mention 3 to 4 recommendations. Don't say that I have no recommendations for the retailer or for the owner of the company. So specifically talking about your recommendation may be based on your observations, your recommendation can be based on considering the trends in the industry. That will really help you to score good marks and support your answer with some genuine recommendations. So these are the top 8 commonly asked questions in the business exposure Viva. There would be some other sort of questions. So I request you to please do comment and tell me which all can be the questions based on the project which you have made on the business exposure Viva. So let's move to the second part of the video where you will find some pro tips to score good marks and perform better in the business exposure Viva. Tip number 1 is prepare thoroughly, because whatever the questions which will be asked by the examiner to you will be purely based on your report. I also have seen some students, they are least bothered about preparation. So make sure that you have thoroughly gone through your project. What you have written, what you have mentioned, all facts and figures, you'll have to know them in detail. That is going to help you to address or answer any sort of questions which can be asked by the examiner based on your report. Tip number 2 is have report handy. If your Viva exam on business exposure happens on campus, then you'll have to have a printout ready for the reference, or if it happens online, also you can keep a soft copy of your project ready. So even if the examiner wants to see any section of a report, it will be handy to immediately present it to the examiner. That creates a positive impact about an individual or a candidate. Next is reach on time. So same goes with if it is online or offline. If it is offline, then make sure that you're reaching your Viva venue or a classroom well in time. Or if it is online, then make sure that you have a proper connectivity and you're joining the Viva link given by your teacher on time. Next is keep your answer short and simple. I have seen so many students, they keep on talking all theory part. So if it is specifically been asked like which all are the recommendations or suggestions or findings, so you can specifically talk relating to the question. So try to understand the question and keep your answer short and simple. Next is use simple language. So try to avoid the jargons or any words or higher terminologies. Make it short and simple, because the main purpose is to understand what you are trying to convey to the examiner. Next is take care of the basics of grammar. I don't have to tell you this, but yes, even if you're answering, take care of your fundamentals of the grammar. Next is wear a uniform or a smart casual. That creates the first impression, because you'll have to keep your camera on if it is online Viva, or if it is offline, then yes, you'll also have to take care of the grooming part along with your appearance. When we talk about the grooming is not only essential just for the presentation, but also it increases your confidence level. Next is maintain eye contact and be confident, because it's going to be one-to-one conversation. So whenever you're answering to the question being asked by the examiner, make sure that you are maintaining a proper eye contact. At the same time, make sure that the examiner feels comfortable. Next is keep a smile on your face, because it shows that you're confident and you have prepared thoroughly. Next is follow basic manners and etiquettes. Like let's say for example, if it's offline Viva, then you'll have to knock the door and ask for the permission. And if it is online Viva, then you'll also have to follow some manners and etiquettes. Like let's say for example, if the examiner is asking you some question, then wait, let the person complete the question and then answer or respond to the question being asked. And the last is say thanks when your Viva comes to an end. So these were some most commonly asked questions and important tips which can help you to perform better in business exposure Viva. I'm sure you must have found them helpful. If so, then please give a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit on the bell icon. Also do comment and let me know how did you find this video, and mention some questions or tips which can help the peers to score good marks or perform better in the business exposure Viva. The next video is based on mock business exposure Viva. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, this is Sandeep signing off. Thank you for your time.